Hello teachers, today I'm going to introduce you to class C5, Save the Night. So before I introduce you to this class, let us revise what the students have done in their previous class, which was the forest maze class. So in that class, the students were introduced to the key press and touching color event with the when press and touching color block respectively. Over there, they also use the concept and the code block where they learn to create a maze game in which the actor, that is Knight, is controlled using the arrow keys to navigate inside the maze to reach the destination. So let's see what they are going to do in today's class. So in today's class, the students will revisit the concept and the code blocks they have learned so far. And they will use all of them to create a game where the knight has to carefully move and reach the castle without getting hit by the arrow all across the screen. Okay, so this is what they're going to do in today's class. So after completing like the demonstration, let us see what we have to see in the story part. So the name of the class is Save the Night. Our actor over here is the knight. So we know that the knight has the magical gem and now he is, attacked by the enemy. So we have to help him to reach the castle safely. So he needs to dodge the arrows which are coming from everywhere. So let's take a look. How can we help them? So let us explore the activity first and see. So you can ask the student to explore this link at their end. So when you will open it, you will see that these are the things like there is a castle, the knight and the arrow, and it says use the arrow keys to make the knight move. So if you see, the knight can keep moving, and whenever it hits the knight, okay, the knight says out and he comes back to his original position. Okay, so if the knight has to reach the castle, then it will say you save the knight. Okay, so you can ask the student to play this and they can, try and look at it, observe it, and answer your questions. You can ask them multiple questions over this so that you will understand whether they have understood this game properly or not. Moving ahead, you can first ask them what did they observe. So they observe a n number of things. So they might tell you that, they observed a moving arrow. Then they observe that the knight moves, with the help of the arrow keys. And if the knight is being touched by the arrow, he says ouch and he comes back to its original position. And in the end, when he reaches the castle, it says you save the knight. So all these things the students would observe and tell you, and you can ask some open-ended question as well to them. So there are three missions for this game. Mission 1 is to move the knight. Mission 2 is to move the arrow. Mission 3 is to restart and put up the win condition. Okay, restart means when he's coming back to its original position, when the arrow touches and he says ouch. And winning condition is when he reaches the castle. The screen says, you have saved the knight. So first we have to identify the main elements of the game. Okay, so as we can see that there are flowers, which is the starting point. Then there is the knight, who's the actor of this game. Then you have the arrow keys, okay, and which is an obstacle, and the ending point, that is the winning point, which is the door of the castle. Okay, so let us revise one by one. So we have the player, which is our knight, our obstacle, which is our arrow, starting point, which are the flowers, and the ending point is the castle door. And our goal is to reach the door of the castle. Okay, that is where the winning condition comes into play. Now the first mission is we have to move the knight. Okay, the knight has to move with the arrow keys. So you can see that the knight can move in all the direction, up, down, right, left. Okay, so this is our mission 1, that our knight should move in all the direction. Okay, so you can recall this. They have done this in the last class. Okay, so which event block did we use to move the knight through the maze? So this particular activity they had done in the last class, so they should be able to answer that they have used when pressed. Okay, so they used the up arrow, right arrow, left arrow, right arrow, up and down arrow. All these events they have already used. Okay, so they will answer you this. Then tell them about the next thing, that there is something that is missing. Okay, which missing block will make the knight move towards the left? Okay, so there are two options given to them, either move towards edge or point towards left edge. Okay, so you can also here pinpoint this move 30 pixels. That means they are moving with the distance of 30 pixels on the screen. Okay, so here the right answer is left edge, because you're using a left arrow, so they have to point. Okay, point means they have to look towards. Whenever they are moving, they first look at that side and then move towards it, right? So this particular block also they need to use. You can ask them to then try students activity number 1. Okay, so let's see what they have to do in the students activity number 1. You can ask them to open it. They have to go through the tutorial, okay, and then do it. First, they can see the sample, okay, and then start reading one by one and start doing it. So you have to copy to move the knight when the arrow key are pressed. In this project, you will only move the knight, okay. So let's see what they have to do. So code to animate the running action of the knight is given. So already, the knight is running forever. It's been already done for you. Now, what you have to do to move the knight? So code to move the knight when the arrow keys are pressed. Okay. So first is drag and drop the when press. So you have the when press, you can drag and drop it in the coding area. So drag and drop when press block in the knight coding area and select up arrow in the drop down list. So click inside, you will get the up arrow. Attach the point towards. Now you have to take this point towards and attach it below the when press block and select top edge, because it's up, it has to look up. So that is top edge. So we're going to select that. Then we have to attach the move block below the point towards block and set the value. Okay, so we are going to take this, okay, and we are going to set a value. You can set 10, 20, 30, whatever, the student wish to. I'm just writing 30 as of now, okay. Repeat step 1, 2, and 3 to code to move the knight. Down arrow, right arrow, left arrow. Okay. So if you remember, the same we have to do. Okay. So either you can ask them to copy paste it. Okay. If they know to copy paste, or you can ask them to repeat. Okay. So this is for up. Now this we are gonna do for down. So down means again bottom edge. Okay. Similarly. Okay. So this is the procedure to copy paste. You can here there are 3 dots on this orange line. You can click, right click, copy, click over here, and you can paste the block. Okay. So we are done for up, down. Okay. We also made the changes over here. Now here I'm going to do for right. So right arrow, that means right edge. Here I'm going to do for left arrow, that means left edge. Okay. Either they can copy paste or make the block completely upon them. Okay. So this we are coding for the knight. Okay. This is our actor. Now see here, up we have already done, top edge 30 pixel, down, bottom edge 30 pixel, left arrow, so left edge, right arrow, right edge. Okay, and all we have kept the distance that it has to run with is 30 pixels. Okay, let's try this code. Let's click on try. Okay, so see, you can click the up arrow, down arrow, right arrow, okay, behind. See, whenever it is moving anywhere, it is facing towards that edge, right? So this is working perfectly. Yes, so we can just stop it. Yeah, and this is done. You can just save your work. Okay, let's see what we have to do next. Okay. Okay, so after completing this, the mission 1 is completed. You can congratulate the student for completing the mission 1. You can give them the hats off and move ahead. You can ask them some questions like move the actor in all the 4 directions on the screen, right? So they have used to set the direction and move the actor. So they use top edge, left, right edge, and bottom edge. Now they have to move to mission 2. Okay, so mission 2 is move the arrow. Okay, so arrow is the obstacle. So the arrow, if you would have observed the first thing, you can ask them to recall. So what did they recall over there? Okay, they can see over there an answer. That the arrow, is moving haywire here and there, right? Like the gem which they had done. Okay, so which code block did they use to make the gem move across the screen? They can try and recollect it. Okay. So which block did we use to make the gem move across the screen? So we used turn 15 degrees, move by 1 pixel, if on edge bounce. So block is forever loop to move the gem continuously on the screen. Okay, so let's move the arrow in the same way, like how we have made the gem move. So they can click on student activity number 2 and they can start with the activity over here. So here mainly the students are doing the activity because it's like a revision, right? So you have to help them to recall. You can just scaffold them, bring them to the solution, try, ask them open-ended questions so that they try and recollect what they have done in the previous class, and then they can, try to do it. Okay, and always remember that the tutorial is there to help out. So now here what we have to do is we have to move the arrow back and forth and turn the arrow, correct? So let's start. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to move the arrow back and forth. Code to move the arrow back and forth within the screen. Okay. So let us see what we have to do. First, we have to drag the on start and forever block into the arrows coding area. So this is the arrows coding area. We can see over here. I will take an on start and then forever, right? After that, we have to attach the move, wait, and if an edge bounce block on the to the on start block, right? So to the on start block, we're going to take this block. Okay, so let's take the on start and take the forever. After that, we have to attach the move and the wait and if on the edge bounce block. Okay, so we'll take these blocks one by one. So this is the move block, this is the wait block, and also the this. So we have attached it. Here we have to change the value of wait block to 0.01. So we'll add here 0.01. This also has to be attached here. Okay, and we have to set the value of move. So maybe I'll set it to 30 as of now. Okay, let's try the code. So see, it's moving, right? With a particular speed and it's bouncing off the edges. Now it has to move haywire here and there, right? So let's try that. Next. So now to make the game more challenging, the arrow should bounce all over the screen, right? Haywire, here, from there, everywhere, right? Then only it would be challenging. So let's use this block. That is, we have to turn it by a degree, yeah, right? So we have to attach the turn block to the on start block above the forever block. Okay, and we can set the value as how we want to move it by how much degree, either 15, 35, or your wish. So I can just write it. I will just write it as 15. Just let me write 15, 1, 5. Yeah. So now see, you can see already it has started over here. So let's check it out next. So we can see on start turn by, they have used 35, I have used 15. If you want, you can use 35 as well. Move by 30 pixels, wait. This is, for, slowing down the thing. And then let's check it out, how it's working, right? So we can just make it full screen. So now it is bouncing from everywhere and it is moving also, right? So it's more challenging now. So you can save your work and move ahead. So let's see what we have to do in the next activity. Okay, so mission 2 is completed. You can congratulate the students, give them the hats off, give them some emojis, and congratulate them and move to the next thing. So before we move to the third mission, let us revise what they have done. So you can ask them which code block, when added, can make the arrow move as seen in the output 2. So output 1, if you remember, in students activity 2, in the part 1 we created, and then in the part 2 we could do this because it was moving with a particular degree. So they will tell you the answer. Okay, you can also explain them. Then we have to start with the third mission. So our third mission is to restart the game again and put up the winning condition. Okay, so let them observe this again so that they can recollect what happened. So whenever the knight touches the door of the castle, this thing would come in that you save the knight. Okay, so this is the winning condition, and the restart condition would be what will happen is when the knight, if the arrow touches the knight, it says ouch. Okay, see, it says ouch, and it comes back to its original position, that is near the flower, right? Near the flower, this come back. So this is what we have to create. Okay, here you can ask them open-ended questions so that you'll understand how much have they understood the game. So what happens when the knight touches the moving arrow? So the game restart and he says ouch and he comes back to the original position. That is the starting point where the flowers are there. Okay, so you can show them the restart condition over here. This is the teacher activity. So we have to show them the restart condition first. So now the platform will be prepared. Okay, so we have to create the restart of the game. So where should the knight go on getting hit by the arrow? As soon as he hit by the arrow, he should go back to the flowers, right? Yes. So we have to put up this condition. We have to code to make the knight go to the flower when he is hit by the arrow. Okay. So drag the when occurs block into the knight coding area. So see, this is knight coding area. You can see over here as well as here. Okay, so we have taken this. Attach the touching block inside. Okay, so we have to take the touch block and put it inside the when occur block and select arrow from the drop down list. So click over here and select the arrow. Okay, so here is the arrow. Add the say. Okay, so we are taking this say block to the when touching block and type a message like ouch. Okay, change the value to 1 second. Okay, so we'll write here 1 second. That means it will remain for 1 second. And what we should say. So we want him to say ouch. If the student specifically wants to write something, you can allow them. That's totally your choice. Attach where it has to go back. So after saying that where it has to go back, it has to go back to the flowers. So you can select over your flowers. Okay. So now this is the code. So as soon as the arrow would touch the knight, he would say ouch for a second and then go back to the flowers. So let's try the code. Okay, let's see. Yeah, see, he says ouch and he comes back to the flowers. Let me take him a little bit up. He says ouch and he comes back. This is working properly, fine. Okay, you can ask the students to save this. Okay, and come back. Okay, now after this, okay, now the next thing that we have to do is when the knight touches the door, okay, which is the winning condition. So when he touches the door, what he has to do is the screen changes, right? The screen changes and it says you have saved the knight, right? Okay, so basically what is happening, the background is changing and the winning message appears and the knight disappears from it. We cannot see the knight anymore, right? So this they have to do in the students activity number 3. So you can ask them to open it at their end. Okay, so as soon as it gets open, they have to perform it. Okay, so they have to do 2 things here, that is restart the game as well as win the game. So restart, the teacher has already showed them, so they have to do that as well. Plus they have to do the winning condition. So first they have to do the restart part. So they'll take this block, okay, when and put this when occur block, put touching and select when the arrow touches. So what they have to say and wait for a second. So same thing they have to do. They can keep reading and doing. They can add ouch to it. Okay, and then it has to go back to the flowers. That is the starting point. So you can ask them to do this. Okay, they can do this. They can check their thing. Okay, next is put up the winning condition. So they have to code to switch the background and hide the knight when he reaches the castle. Okay, so let us take this when occur block inside this when they touch the like they touch the castle's door. Here you will have the castle door, that is the castle wall actually. So we have selected that. Then they have to switch the background. So you're going to take switch the background option and you have to switch the background to the winning condition. So here you already have the winning condition and you have to add hide. Okay, so add a hide block over here and you can play a sound. Okay, over here. So take the play sound option and you can add a sound of your choice over here. Okay, after that you can click on next. Okay, so these are the codes that they have created. You can ask them to check one. So when the arrow is touched, the knight says ouch for a second and go to the flowers. That is the starting point. And if it touches the wall of the castle, then the winning condition is shown Okay, and the knight is being hidden and a sound is played. Okay, so you can ask them to try this out. Now see this here, it stays out, it's coming back to its position, so he has to be a little more fast. And yes, so you save the knight. So in this way, you can ask them to play the game, check for both the condition, that is the restart condition as well as the winning condition. You can ask them to save their work, okay, and then move ahead. Okay, so they have already completed the mission 3 as well. You can give them their hats off, congratulate them, okay, appreciate them for helping the knight to reach the castle safely. In the project work, they have to create a dodge game with a girl and a bee. So you can see that the girl also will require a moving condition. She's also moving right, left, also facing towards it. And if the bee touches, she comes back to the original position. So she has to reach this shop. So when she will reach the shop, okay, so this all things, ask them to observe, ask them, open-ended questions. So that will help them to create their project in a better way. Let's move to the next. Okay. So now there are some MCQs which they have to solve. So which block sends the actor to the set position? So you can ask them which block. So that is the go-to block. Next, choose the correct code for the given output. So you can see over here, you can ask them to look at it. So they will select which output they will select. So this is the answer is the A1 because you have 1 second when he says ouch and he comes back to the restart position. That is the flower position. Then you also have some additional activity. Okay, in additional activity 1, you have to add instructions to the game. Okay, this is very simple. Like some instruction when the game starts, like because someone when someone plays the game, they will not know what exactly the coder has coded. So just for a glance, when they see, like when they start the game, they need to know what they have to do. So you can ask them that use arrow keys so that you can move the knight and you need to dodge the arrow so that they get an understanding of the activity or the game that they are playing, right? So let's see how to do that. So it's very simple. So we'll just start it and we have to give some instructions in the start. So we have to click on the start. So this is done at the stage part. Okay. So on start, we have to say something. Okay. So you can, use all these things. So here you can write, use arrow keys, use arrow keys to make the knight reach the castle. Okay. Then if you want to add one more, you can take this again and write over here, dodge the arrow. Okay. So this have been used over here. Okay, so now we have used this, so you can ask them to try this code. Okay. Okay, so you can ask them to play, click on play and check it out. So you can see that it is giving up the instructions. When I click use arrow keys to make the knight reach the castle, dodge the arrow. Okay, so you can ask the students to write something of their own as well. They can try it out. Let's see what they have to do next. They have completed this additional activity as well. Now in the additional activity 2, they have to hide all the actors on the win condition. Okay, so even after the win condition, you can see that the arrow and the castle wall is still there, right? So we have to hide everything. So that's what they have to do in the next activity. So let's see how this they have to perform in the next activity. So you can ask them to open the activity. Okay. Now we have to hide the arrow as well as the wall of the castle. So we can say that when the background switches to the win condition, okay, so we have taken drag the when background switches to block in the arrow coding area and select the win background over here. So when the background switches to win, we have to use the hide block. Okay, so we are using the hide block for the arrow key, right? So see, for the arrow key also, when the winning condition will change, the arrow key will be hidden. Okay, now again, what you can do is we have to put this for the castle as well, right? So either what you can do is you can copy paste it, or you just drag and drop it over here in the castle page. Okay, so see in the castle also, you will see the same block. Okay, in the arrow also you have the block. Okay, so now see when you will click on play over here. Okay, so let's try it out. Now see when you will click on run. Okay, so you have to dodge it, and when you dodge it and you reach, now see everything has disappeared. We cannot see the castle, we cannot see the arrow keys nor the knight. So everything is disappeared. So this is what you have to do in the final activity. Okay. Okay, so they can move ahead. So in the upcoming activity, that is in the upcoming class, what they have to do is they have to create a dragon flight game. Okay, so you can see that there are obstacles and the dragon has to fly. So you can tell them about this class mostly, okay, and explain them what they will be doing. You can thank them for attending this class. If any hats offs are remaining, you can give them that as well. Appreciate them and end the class. Thank you, teachers. That's all for today. Hope you had a good time.